The court, it made me fall, so I don't like the court. I'm just kidding. I mean, this place is nice. The facility is really nice. The court is nice. The food is great. The people are wonderful.
Justice served. Australian Open referees fired after rigged calls against Alycia Parks. Shocking details. Welcome back to Court Vision Media. If you thought the drama at the Australian Open only played out on the court, you are in for a surprise. We have a breaking story that is shaking the tennis world to its core this morning. So grab your popcorn and settle in, because what we're about to reveal completely changes everything we thought we knew about the recent match between Filipino star Alexandra Eala and American force Alycia Parks. We all watched the match. We all heard the crowd. But what we didn't see, until now, is what was happening in the umpire's chair. Breaking news, the Australian Open has officially announced the immediate dismissal, yes, dismissal, of the officiating team from that explosive Eala vs. Parks match. Why? Because a leaked internal review has confirmed this wasn't just a simple mistake. It was a catastrophic officiating failure that nearly robbed Alycia Parks of a fair contest. Disallowed shots? Check. Ignored fouls? Absolutely. The review panel confirmed serious errors were made against Parks in a match where the odds, and the crowd, were already stacked against her. For days, fans have been screaming robbery. For days, the internet has been divided. But today, the verdict is in. Justice has been served. And if you're new here, stop what you're doing right now. Hit that subscribe button on Court Vision Media and turn on notifications. We're the only channel bold enough to bring you the ugly truth behind the beautiful game. You don't want to miss this update. Let's dive into the scandal of the century. To understand the gravity of this firing, we have to return to the scene of the crime, Court 6 at Melbourne Park. The atmosphere was electric. This wasn't just a tennis match, it was a gladiator arena. On one side stood Alexandra Eala, the 20-year-old pride of the Philippines, riding a wave of national support unlike anything we've seen in decades. The crowd was packed. Flags were waving. The noise was louder than many finals at Rod Laver Arena. On the other side stood Alycia Parks, the underdog in the stadium's eyes, battling not just an opponent but a wall of sound. From the first serve, the tension was unmistakable. The pre-match narrative was clear, Eala was the favorite. She had momentum, ranking, and the crowd behind her. But as the match unfolded, something strange began to happen. It wasn't just the crowd getting into Parks' head. It seemed the officials were losing the plot too. Parks unleashed her signature power game, 120 miles per hour serves, crushing forehands, yet time and again, the calls felt wrong. At the time, we assumed it was just a bad angle or thin lines. But now, with the release of this explosive report from the tournament review panel, we know the truth. It wasn't our eyes deceiving us. The report alleges that referees disallowed several crucial Parks shots that landed cleanly in. Shots that could have shifted momentum earlier. Shots that would have silenced the crowd. Imagine being Alycia Parks. Standing at the baseline, thousands against you. You hit a clean winner down the line, chalk flies up, and the umpire calls it out. You challenge. You argue. The decision stands. Not once. Not twice. Repeatedly. And that's only the beginning. The most damning part of the Australian Open statement isn't just bad line calls. It's the match management. The transcript we received highlights a chilling phrase, ignored numerous fouls. Let's break that down. The report suggests that while officials were quick to penalize Parks, they turned a blind eye to other infractions. Time violations were enforced unevenly. Crowd control was neglected. The officials allowed the environment to become hostile territory for the American. But it gets worse. The official statement mentions ignored numerous fouls committed by Alycia Parks as part of the referee's failure. That is the smoking gun of incompetence. The wording implies the referees completely lost control of the match. By failing to enforce technical fouls or manage the game properly, they created chaos where neither player was safe, but the errors overwhelmingly hurt Parks at the most critical moments. The review panel called it a serious error against Alycia Parks. Think about the mental strength required to play through that. You're not just playing Eala, you're playing the chair umpire, who seems terrified of upsetting the pro-Eala crowd. It's home court advantage taken too far, spilling into the officiating booth. The referees, clearly buckling under the pressure of Eala mania, began making calls that defied logic. And for a while, it worked. Eala won the first set 6-0. A bagel. Everyone assumed the story was written, Eala advances, Parks goes home. But Alycia Parks had other plans. And that's what makes her victory legendary. Despite the bad calls. Despite the disallowed shots. Despite the chair umpire acting like a third opponent, Parks dug deep. This is why we love sports. When the system fails you, talent must prevail. Parks didn't complain. She didn't quit. She locked in and adjusted. If the lines were tight, she aimed for the middle. If the crowd noise was ignored, she hit harder. The second set became a war. Parks fought back to win it 6-3. You could see the panic in the officials' eyes. The script was flipping. By the third set, it was clear no amount of bad officiating could stop the Parks freight train. She closed it out 6-2. But the win didn't erase the sin. Immediately after the match, Parks' team reportedly filed a formal grievance. They presented video evidence, demanded a review of the Hawkeye data, and asked for answers about the bizarre procedural calls in the first hour. And guess what? The Australian Open listened. They reviewed tapes, listened to chair audio, and confirmed what many suspected: officiating fell below Grand Slam standards. Firing referees mid-tournament is unprecedented. Usually, officials are quietly reassigned or suspended. But to fire them publicly? That sends a message. Let's look at the language used in the announcement. The Australian Open officially announced the dismissal of the referees involved, disallowed several crucial shots. Review panel appears to have made yet another serious error against Alycia Parks. That phrase is key. It implies a pattern. This wasn't a one-off mistake. The investigation likely found these officials have a history of buckling under pressure or making unlikely calls against certain players. By using the word justice, the narrative becomes clear: Parks was the victim. This validates everything she felt on the court. Her frustration? Justified. Her tears? Justified. Her anger? 100% justified. This decision is a massive wake-up call to every official in Melbourne: do your job, be fair, or pack your bags. Integrity is the currency of sport. Without it, tennis is just people hitting a ball over a net. When officials let a loud crowd or a popular player influence their calls, they compromise the integrity of the tournament. The Australian Open realized they had a PR nightmare. If they swept this under the rug, and Parks lost later due to bias, the backlash would be unrecoverable. By acting fast, they're trying to save face. Now we must address the elephant in the room. What does this mean for Alexandra Eala? Let's be clear, Eala is a phenomenal talent. A rising star who has put Philippine tennis on the map. She fought hard. But this controversy casts a shadow over the match. Did she benefit from bad calls? The report suggests yes. But Eala didn't make the calls. She just played the points. It's unfair to blame her. Yet it raises questions. Did the officials' favoritism hurt her long-term? Did it give her a false sense of security, leading to her collapse when Parks turned the tide? It's tragic for Eala too. No player wants to win, or lose, under a cloud of controversy. This dismissal actually protects Eala's reputation. It confirms the chaos wasn't her fault, nor Parks. It was the officials who failed them both. Social media is exploding. Hashtag Justice for Parks is trending. Fans are celebrating, calling it a victory for fairness. One ex-user wrote, "Finally. The AO admits it. Parks beat Eala and the refs. Legend status." Meanwhile, the tennis world debates the precedent. Will more referees be fired? Will players challenge officials more aggressively, knowing tournament directors are watching? This adds enormous pressure to Parks' next match. The referees assigned will be under a microscope. The world is watching. The review panel is watching. Officiating will be surgical. That's great news for Parks. When the playing field is level, she is unstoppable. But what does this mean for tennis as a whole? We're witnessing a pivotal moment in Grand Slam history. The Australian Open's swift action signals a turning point in how governing bodies handle officiating scandals. For years, questionable calls were dismissed as part of the game. Not anymore. This decision sends shockwaves through the officiating community. Every chair umpire, line judge, and supervisor is now on notice. The days of hiding behind tradition are over. The Australian Open proved accountability matters more than protecting officials who can't handle Grand Slam pressure. Technology is central here. Hawkeye can track a ball within millimeters. Yet officials still got crucial calls wrong. That's not incompetence. That's negligence. How did this happen? Why did multiple officials make the same errors? Either crowd pressure overwhelmed their judgment, or something more sinister was at play. We're not here to push conspiracy theories, but when a review panel uses phrases like "yet another serious error," fires officials mid-tournament, and admits a pattern against one player, you have to wonder what they uncovered. Crowd influence is real and documented. Home advantage extends to officiating. In a stadium full of Filipino fans chanting Eala's name, is it surprising officials buckled? Whether bias was conscious or unconscious, the result is the same. Parks was denied a fair contest. The stakes are huge. Grand Slam prize money is enormous. Advancing rounds can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars, sponsorships, ranking points, and career momentum. When officials alter match outcomes, they change lives. Parks survived this travesty and won anyway, proving her mental strength. But how many players haven't survived similar injustice? How many careers have been altered by bad officiating? This decision validates fans who felt something wasn't right. The timing is also significant. The Australian Open didn't wait until after the tournament. They didn't bury a statement in a quiet release. They made the announcement during peak attention. That's a power move. It says, "We messed up, we fixed it, and we're not afraid to say it publicly." This transparency is rare. Leagues usually protect officials and issue vague statements. The Australian Open did the opposite: real investigation, real action. They set a new standard. Now let's consider the human side. These fired officials are real people with families and careers. Being fired from a Grand Slam is career-ending. Their names will forever be tied to this scandal. That's harsh, but it's the consequence of failing at the highest level. Tennis officiating is uniquely pressured. In football or basketball, multiple officials share responsibility. In tennis, the chair umpire is alone. Split-second decisions, thousands watching, millions on TV, players arguing directly. It's high pressure. But standards must be high. If you can't handle it, you shouldn't be in the chair. The ripple effects will be felt throughout the tournament. Every call will be scrutinized. Players will feel empowered to speak up. That's healthy. Tension keeps everyone honest. For Parks, this vindication must feel incredible. Winning despite terrible officiating, and then having the tournament acknowledge it, this is validation. She now carries momentum and moral authority into the next rounds. For Eala, the path forward is complicated. She must separate her performance from scandal. She must prove she can win on merit, not with help. That's a heavy burden for a 20-year-old. But also an opportunity. If she bounces back, she proves she's a true contender. The fired officials face an uncertain future. Will they ever officiate again? This is likely career-ending. The officiating community is small. Word travels fast. They will be persona non grata. Harsh, but deserved. As the tournament continues, this incident will cast a long shadow. Every controversial call will be compared to this. Every partisan crowd will raise questions. Every player wrong will point to this case as proof that speaking up can create change. The Australian Open has opened Pandora's box, and it won't close. Maybe tennis needed this. Perhaps the sport became too complacent, accepting bad calls as part of the game. Maybe this scandal is the wake-up call. If it leads to better training, more technology, and more accountability, something good may come from this mess. Historically, tennis has faced crises and emerged stronger. Hawkeye was controversial at first. Now it's essential. This scandal could catalyze the next evolution in officiating. Ultimately, this story is about more than one match. It's about fairness, integrity, accountability, and the courage to admit mistakes. The Australian Open, by firing officials and acknowledging errors, affirmed those values. They sent a message: fairness matters, and there will be consequences when it's compromised. Alycia Parks deserved better. But she fought through it and won. The Australian Open investigated and acted. The tennis world is now discussing officiating standards and accountability. Justice has been served, not perfectly, but in a way that acknowledges the wrong and tries to correct it. What do you think, Court Vision family? Was firing the referees the right call, or too harsh? Did the crowd influence the officials, or were they simply incompetent? Does this make you root for Alycia Parks even more? Drop your theories in the comments. I want to hear them. If you believe in fair play, smash that like button. Subscribe to Court Vision Media and hit the bell icon so you never miss a breaking update. Tell a friend to subscribe. This is a movement, and we want you on our team. Share this video with every tennis fan you know. Let's make sure the truth gets out. Let's ensure what happened to Alycia Parks never happens again. Until next time, keep your eye on the ball and trust your vision. This is Court Vision Media, signing off.
It made me fall, so I don't like the court. I'm just kidding. I mean, this place is nice. The facility is really nice. The court is nice. The food is great. The people are wonderful. So, yeah.